Hi, guys. Welcome back to Get Out of Your Way. Welcome to 2023. This is a year that I have decided that I want to step out of my comfort zone and bring to you a podcast that is not only audio but video as well. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, remember that you can jump over to YouTube and I am there and you can see my face as I am talking to you in these podcasts. I want to say that the last few months of me doing podcasts for you has been an absolute blast. I have had so much fun coming at you weekly with crazy ideas and talking through a lot of the processes that I've gone through in the past in my journey to finding my own self-confidence. And this year, I have decided that I want to start coming at this entire process with a more goal setting mindset, and talking about how we make goals and we set them. If we don't achieve them, we end up losing our confidence. So I wanted to come at you with a process that helps you make and maintain goals, big or small, throughout the year that will inevitably boost your confidence. Because the more goals that you achieve, the more promises that you keep with yourself, the more you're going to trust yourself and the more confidence you're going to build from that point forward. So this year, I came at this entire process running hard. And on January 2nd, I hosted my very first webinar, which was another part of me coming out of my comfort zone. Again, being on video has been very nerve-wracking for me. I am getting better. I've been practicing a lot with doing lives and doing reels and doing all sorts of podcasts and now coming at you with this and a webinar. So I wanted to talk about my webinar a little bit deeper because I didn't have as many people as I had dreamt of having for my webinar, which I honestly expected to a point because I'm new at this. I can't expect to come out the door and be famous. I can't expect to come out the door and have 500 people attending my webinar. I did have a few, which was amazing. I had a great time with those few. It was very intimate. We were able to talk about a lot of things. But I still wanted to be able to bring this knowledge to more people. And what better way than to throw it onto my podcast where I know that I have quite a few listeners, and then throw it onto YouTube where I know I'm going to gain more listeners. So my webinar was called New Year, New Me. And I did this because being the first week of January, we end up talking a lot about resolutions and becoming better people by attaining the goals that we make on December 31st for the coming year. So December 31st, you're all partying, and just before the ball drops, everybody's talking about what are we going to do for the next year? How are we going to make next year better than this year? And thus births your resolution. So no matter what your resolution is, big or small, I wanted to bring you knowledge on how to make those attainable, to make sure that these resolutions that these promises that you're making yourself this year are going to be met. Because, like I said earlier, if you don't meet your own promises, you lose trust in yourself and then you lose your confidence. And I don't want to see that in anybody. This is exactly how I built my confidence up. I started giving myself little challenges and making it so that I could trust myself more, making so that I knew in my heart and soul that I could handle these things. But I couldn't just come out of the gate and throw on this big, huge goal and expect myself to attain it. It's like weight training. You can't just jump into the gym and expect to deadlift 400 pounds. You got to work your way up. So having little goals, little promises to myself that I have kept has given me the confidence to trust myself, to trust that I have my own back and that I have the confidence and the ability to move through hard things. One of the hard things actually just happened in December. I was supposed to go on a trip, and that trip ended up getting canceled, and a past version of myself would have broken down and would have spent the whole Christmas season or Christmas holidays sobbing in my bed by myself because my plans didn't work. Instead, I recognized that the plans weren't working. I, gave myself permission to grieve that. And then I knew that I was going to be able to find something else to do that wasn't going to put me in a depressed state where I was, holding myself away from everybody else. I knew that I was going to be okay. A past version of me who had no trust in myself and no confidence in myself would have felt loneliness. I would have felt betrayed by the universe. Why couldn't you just let this happen? This was a good thing for me to happen. But instead, it didn't. And then I had to make new plans. And my new plans worked out just as well. So either way, I would have been happy, loved, held, and joyous. So having the trust in yourself by attaining or keeping small goals helps. So this program that I had introduced we talked a lot about making goals sustainable. We talked about the challenges that you might face when you make your goals. We talked about, how to break our big goals into smaller goals. Because like I said, smaller goals are easier to attain, they're easier to manage, and they're easier to complete so that you can gain that little bit of trust to move on to bigger things. We talked about how you stick to your goals. We talked about how to keep things or keep yourself in account for the action steps that you choose for your goals. We talked about, having a backup plan because sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes our goals that we originally had planned aren't what we actually need. And sometimes we have limiting belief systems or behavior patterns that keep us from attaining those goals. And then we have to sidestep for a little while in order to deal with whatever's blocking us and then come back to it. We need to be able to regulate our nervous system to understand that when we walk into a goal 12 months prior to when we want to have the full goal attained, that things are going to move, they're going to shift, they're going to change in the meantime. And that it's okay to shift paths. It's okay to shift what the end goal is. It's okay to not actually attain exactly what you said or set out for yourself on January 1st. It's okay that sometimes what you envisioned isn't really what you get in the end, because most of the time, if you're actually moving towards it, it's something better. It may not have been the original vision, but the vision that you end up with is actually way better for you. And being able to recognize that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. We talked about goals being SMART. So if you don't know what SMART goals are yet, there's tons of information on it. I will kind of briefly go through it. SMART is an acronym. It's to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So setting a goal, you want it to be specific. It needs to be clear and defined for you. So a goal to drink more water can't just be drink more water. You need to set a guideline that shows direction. So I want to drink, by the end of the year, I want to comfortably be able to drink 2 liters of water a day. And again, I'll bring back the weight training analogy. You can't just walk into a gym and expect to deadlift 400 pounds. You have to work towards things. So having it measurable. Setting a measure for your goal allows you to see progress. And if you don't see progress, you'll end up giving up. You want to see micro progression in your goal setting, which means breaking it down sometimes. Make sure that your goal is attainable. You need to have a goal that's something that you can actually get in the time period that you set. So if you were to come into the year with the expectation of losing 100 pounds in the year, it's not really attainable in 52 weeks. On average, your body will lose between 1 and 2 pounds a week. To lose 100 pounds, that's stretching it because there's going to be weeks where you fluctuate. So having that in your mind and making it a little bit smaller, more attainable. So like, I want to lose 25 pounds by the end of the week or by the end of the year. That's a little bit more attainable. That leaves room for wiggle That leaves room for injury. That leaves room for those fluctuations, because as women, we will go down 4 pounds and then we shoot up another 6 pounds, and it could be overnight. So having it attainable is something that you need to really consider. So don't make your goals too big. You want it to be relevant. Your goals need to be in line with your future. So for myself as a writer, I'm not going to focus, if I want to write my novel by the end of the year, I'm not going to focus my goal setting on getting to the gym. That's not relevant to my writing a novel. Sure, it might help by getting creative juices flowing, but that's not going to be my main process. My main process would be, I want to make sure that I get a specific number of words in every day. That is relevant to writing a novel. And last but not least is time bound. Your goals need to have a deadline. A sense of urgency will keep you motivated and moving towards your goal. So like I said with the writing, I want to make sure that I write 1,000 words a day. Every single day, I have that sense of urgency that I need to at least write something. I do, however, hold myself accountable, and I understand that some days are busier than others. So instead of doing every day, I have actually planned for myself, and this is my real life resolution, I've planned for myself to make 8,000 words a week. That's attainable to me, because some days I'll only write 50 words, and other days I'll write 2,000 words. In the end, it will balance out. And if I have a goal of 8,000 words by the end of the week, on Monday morning, when I go, oh my goodness, like I need to get some writing in, I know that I need to block out certain amount of time every single day to achieve this. So when I make my calendar, I make sure that I put it in there. So having time-bound goals or deadlines for your goals and keeping that sense of urgency so that you know that you need to work towards it. I'm all about the law of attraction. But the law of attraction doesn't work without the law of action. So if you want to achieve something, you want to attract something into your life, you have to put action into those things. You need to have action towards a version of you in the future. And if you're not putting action towards that version of you in the future, you're not going to attract anything that you want in that future, unfortunately. So keeping in mind that keeping your goals, SMART goals, was one of the biggest topics that we talked about. And we talked about making sure that if your goal was too big, maybe chunking it down to SMART goals. Having that big goal of losing 25 pounds a year or in the year, making sure that every single month you have a specific time-bound, relevant goal that you can actually achieve by the end of the month. So that being, and not just going to the gym, but including other things like drinking more water and introducing a healthier diet. So for the first month, for January, because you want to start a little bit slower, especially after the holidays, and you want to start actually moving yourself into a new routine, I would suggest to you, if this is your goal, to start small. Start by this month, I want to at least make it to the gym 3 days a week for 20 minutes each session. If you're able to make it for more, fantastic. But make sure that you do that 20 minutes 3 times a week for the month. And then the next month, if you found that was too easy, then up it. And eventually you'll get conditioned to a point where you'll be able to go as many times a week as you can. You'll be able to go for longer periods of time, and you'll be able to achieve more in that short amount of time. We also talked a lot about keeping these smaller goals when you have your big resolution. When you chunk it into smaller goals, having a monthly check-in with yourself, making sure that you are reevaluating your goal at the end of every month, seeing what steps are working for you and what steps aren't working for you. If there's a lot of steps that aren't working for you, what can you change to make them work for you? Where can you alter your progress, or where can you alter your action plans so that they start working for you and not against you? So having that check-in once a month, reevaluating exactly why you put this goal in front of you to begin with, and understanding that, like I said earlier, things will change, things will shift in your life. There's going to be multiple things that will come up throughout the month that you may not have accounted for. So making sure that when you check in, you take all these things into account and then make plans for the future trips or the future things or challenges that you might have come up with or come against. So we talked a lot about keeping track of ourselves, and then we talked a little bit about holding ourselves accountable. Sometimes some people are able to do this for themselves. They're able to keep themselves in check. They're able to make sure that they continue on with their goals. They have a lot of motivation, a lot of drive in order to keep moving forward. Others, like myself, need to have somebody in our corner that literally kicks us in the ass and checks in on us and holds us accountable for the action plans that we have. So if you have a buddy or a friend or a partner that you can talk to them about your goals and share your plan with them so that they can keep you in check. They can make sure that when you're slipping behind, instead of you sloughing it under the rug, they're able to go, hey, you said that you wanted to do this for this week, and I haven't noticed you doing that. What's going on? Not forcing you to do it, but like checking in, seeing what's going on. Because sometimes we get these mental blocks where we just have no energy or whatever the case may be. There could be so many different things that are keeping us from actually moving forward in our action steps. And having that accountability buddy or partner that can keep you in check and talk to you about it and move you forward really helps out from moving beyond those blockages. So we talked a lot about finding that accountability partner. And this kind of rolled into the new program that I have set out for everybody. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you have already noticed it. I announced the Revisit, Refocus, and Renew program. This was a brainchild of mine that I had quite some time ago because I am very community oriented. I've always wanted a community setting for people to come in and have the ability to chat with each other. Yes, having a one-on-one coach is great. You get a new perspective on, whatever action steps you have, wherever you're moving forward to, the dreams and the aspirations that you have, the belief systems and the limiting belief systems. You have somebody else who can shed a new light on it and have you look at it in a different way. Having a community can give you 5, 6, 7 new perspectives on that same issue. So I've always loved having the ability to see my problem in other people's eyes because it gives you that ability to recognize that there are multiple ways that we can move through any type of challenge. It doesn't need to just be your way. Some of us are set in our ways, and others of us can actually shift gears and go, oh, okay, that might work a little bit different. Let me give it a try. And having that openness to trying different perspectives or looking at things in different ways. And this is why I've always wanted to have a community, was for this reason, because having those new perspectives is just so magical, and you can really move through things a lot quicker when you're able to see things in a different light. So if you have a goal, a dream, or a plan, it's a place for you. It doesn't matter how big or small the goal or dream or plan is. This is a great place for you to share what you're doing, gain an accountability buddy, have the motivation, have the support and the drive to move forward. In this group, I have promised to have weekly prompts that make you think differently about why you've set the goal, make you think differently about goal setting processes, make you think differently about all sorts of things. And then every day I will be in there motivating everybody. I'll be in there keeping the conversation alive, If anybody has any personal questions for me, I'm available for them. And then on top of all that, I also offer each member their own private one-on-one call with me where we do reframe and refocus and renew the goal that you've set. So, like I said earlier, checking in every month is vitally important when you are trying to attain, especially a large goal. Checking in and making sure that things are working for you and changing the things that aren't working for you. And I offer this service for you guys for $50 a month. It's less than a coffee a day, where you get 24/7 chat with the entire group. I'm in there during the day, and then you get once a month a free personal call with me where we dissect where you're going. We unfold everything, find your blockages, maneuver around them, and move you forward for the next month. And this can happen every single month. So you can't afford not to do this. This is an amazing space for you to come in and legit achieve anything you put your mind to. There's so much support in here. It is unbelievable. I'm already in love with the space itself. I have a couple of people in there now, and it's already lit up. So I'm so excited to share it with more people and get more people involved so that we do have more perspectives. If you want any more information on how to join it, send me a message. You can DM me on Instagram. You can message me on Facebook. You can email me. I'll have all the information in the link below. That's my plug for today. So what I really want from all of this is for you guys to just achieve your goals. I want to see you guys move forward. I want to see everything that you've ever dreamed of show up for you. That's my dream for you. My dream for myself is to witness and hold space for all of you in these processes. I've been there. I've been where you are, where you doubt yourself. You figure you're not good enough for these things, but you are. I promise you are. And I know that you can achieve them. Sometimes it just takes a little bit more kick in the ass to get it done, but it's still achievable. So stop doubting yourself. Jump in this whole community where we chat and we support and we celebrate every single step that you make towards that end goal. I hope I can get more of you in there. I want to see these goals. I want to cheer you on. I'm going to end the podcast there. I'm going to thank you all for being here, for listening for the last few months. It's been an ultimate pleasure of mine sharing all of my wisdom with you. Like I said, this is so much fun for me, and I'm really glad that I'm able to bring this to you in more than one format now, and hopefully this will generate a little bit more talk and chat. I love chatting with all of my listeners and listening to their feedback. I do this for you guys. So if you don't like what I'm doing, then you need to tell me. Then I'll change it so that you do like what I'm doing. If you don't agree with something, that's fine. We can have a conversation about it. If you have questions about things, message me. I'm always open to have a conversation. So until next week, I love you all. Have a fantastic week. Get those goals smarter, get them broken down, and get them achievable. And I will see you next week on YouTube and Spotify. Bye for now.